The Villa Park Village Board on March 9th, 2020. Clerk Kornecki, could you call the roll, please?
Yes, trustee Salella.
Here.
Trustee Kazone.
Here.
Trustee Murphy.
Here.
Trustee Patrick.
Here.
Trustee Tucker.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
President Bolfus.
Here. Let's all rise for a pledge and remain standing for a short prayer. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Wagner has a short prayer for us.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, the first order of business is public comment on agenda. Clerk Kornecki, has anyone signed up?
No, I have nobody.
If any members from the public have any comments on an agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move on to amendments to the agenda. Do we have any amendments to the agenda from the board? Trustee
Yes, I do.
Murphy.
If appropriate, and I could, please, I'd like to make a motion to remove agenda item number 5, appointments to boards and commissions, pended off of this agenda item for a later date, based on input from multiple residents who are expressing concern over the proximity that the nominated candidates live to each other and also to other members on the commission.
Okay. Is there a second?
I will second that, Mr. President.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Kazone.
I have a comment. What difference does it make, locations of people that live next to each other? If these people are qualified and if the president has approved the commissioners, I don't see what their location has anything to do with that.
Well, the concern that they've expressed to me, and this is all based on 8 hours of telephone, email, and text communication over the weekend, is that there could be potential too many people in one location that are all going to join forces together for particular issues, which is causing a weighted situation for circumstances that would be brought before the board. I would say as a primary commission, there's one group within Villa Park that would like to have an opportunity to perhaps provide an alternative recommendation for the commission. And I'm wondering, while most people don't seem adverse to potentially having one of them, they seem adverse to having two of them, and we've got this bundled. So I'm wondering if we do have the flexibility to put this into two separate, where perhaps we could consider one as opposed to both.
Yes. Well, first of all, we're at a point where you're asking for amendments to the agenda. So is your request for amendment that item 5 be divided into two separate motions?
I would be fine with that.
So that would be the motion on the floor. Your motion,
You would have to withdraw your original motion
correct.
and the second. So it's
Because my concern is that, and I don't know exactly how to express this, but if we take it off, I don't know that that's going to fix it without further discussion. So based on that, I'm not adverse to withdrawing my first and making a new.
Do you withdraw the second?
I just think that it makes sense that we go with your original motion, just so that way we clarify this.
So that's a no.
So the motion remains on the table to remove this item from the agenda.
Right. Okay. Does anyone else have any comment? Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Bolfus. I think these two individuals have a right to serve on the commission, just like all residents have a right to serve on the commission. Before the meeting, President Bolfus posed the question to me, had I talked to these applicants, and I have not. So I'm sure they're good choices, but if other board members feel the need to maybe talk to them, I'd support temporarily putting this aside. So that's how I feel. Thank you.
For the record, the appointment to these offices are the mayor's appointment. The village president is authorized by our village code to make these appointments and then to present them to you for your advice and consent. So I couldn't restrict you to talk from anyone, or that's not the purpose of this, but to remind us that it is the right of the village president to make the nominations.
If I may, I apologize. I think that's what we're doing right now, is giving our advice that we think it would be best just to postpone this, like Trustee Wagner had sedated.
Well, my comment is that how far apart do people have to live? Now, we have a number of commissions I know, Planning and Zoning Commission, they have two that can look out their back door and see each other. You know, they can see each other's houses. So I don't, you know, if we're going to go by location, as I mentioned in my email to you, Christine, most of our commission members live south of the Prairie Path on almost all the commissions. So, you know, then on the other point is they're all well qualified. So if that's not an issue, the only issue is that their proximity to their neighbors. And I talked to these, I think your question is, you know, they live close to Jen Burns, and these people here live a couple doors apart. I talked to them, you know, do you have a relationship with Jen Burns? And not really. I talked to Jen Burns, and they are acquainted with each other, see maybe each other at a block party or in the yard, you go and talk to them, you know. But far as knowing what their opinions are on anything, I don't see that that's a conflict at all. So, yes.
Yes, I would just like to make a comment and remind the board and the residents, the input that I'm providing is solely based on resident input that was provided to me via telephone, email, and text. I would agree to suggest that I see nothing in the applicant's information suggesting that neither of them are qualified. I will suggest, however, that Bob's comment, every resident has a right to potentially participate in a board. We have one resident that I'm not for or against, but in all honesty has been very patient in waiting, and that's adverse to the discussion that we're having with respect to everyone being available. Again, I would suggest that the input that I receive from the residents, while it is referencing proximity of residents, is really more of a concern that we're going to be getting input from potentially 3 commission members that will be very similar in possibility to their perspectives on issues. Can I prove that? I can't prove it, and probably nobody can. But that's the input I'm getting from these residents.
Well, you know, I can tell you that my neighbors and I don't agree on everything. So, different political parties, different worldviews. So to say, and in fact, you had the applications since Sunday, and you haven't called them and asked them. So, so you had your opportunity. So, Trustee Tucker.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that that was something I should be getting involved in. It was my understanding that it was as...
I do it as a courtesy.
I don't know that they would want all 6 of us
Well.
calling them necessarily, and based on what Attorney Orr is suggesting, it's your call. So
Yeah, I'm
I'm
doing it as a
just voicing
courtesy.
the opinion of the residents.
Trustee Tucker.
First of all, I mean, you did touch on the fact that most of us up here on the board are all in the same area, and previously 4 of the women almost lived a block away from each other.
Yeah, within a mile.
So, you know, and we know from the board that we all don't all talk the same. So I don't know what percentage means. The second thing is it's a commission. They don't make any voting decisions. They don't make any decisions that doesn't come to the board. So even if they do make a decision as a group, or they all talk together, it's not going to make a difference when it comes to the final vote, because they can only make suggestions to this board. We're the one that makes the decisions. So they're only making suggestions. And third, being the liaison for that committee, we need bodies on it. I'm tired of having our meetings be canceled because we don't have a quorum to do it. I mean, these two ladies have graciously volunteered to do this. And to say they're not good enough, that's a slap in their faces.
That's not what we said. No one said they weren't good enough.
When you're postponing it, that's what it's going to come across as being. And then they're going to turn around and think, well, I'm not good enough to be on the board. I'm going to withdraw my application. I mean, it may not have been sent that way, but that's the look of it. That we can have people, residents in the town, make a stink and say, well, I don't want those people on the board because they live on that block, or they live, in that area. Why do we want them on the board? That's totally wrong. I mean, from one resident to another, they can state their opinion, but it should not come to this far to make it an issue that we postpone a decision that, the village president makes anyway. He's just doing it out of coordination for us.
Thank you, Cheryl. Trustee Wagner?
For the record, I just want to say, I don't care where they live or how close they live to each other. I don't care who they know, but I would say that the fact that Commissioner Burns has recommended them is a plus for me. So, but if people want additional time to call them or talk to them, that's fine with me. But, so, that's my opinion for the record.
Trustee Ciela?
Thank you. Truly, in today's day and age with electronic devices and whatnot, doesn't matter where you live. We're all within a small community. We see each other all the time anyways. So location of residency to me means nothing. I think it's gracious on President Bolthus's part that he takes our thoughts and our considerations into account after he's made a long-educated decision on who he would like to have in there. I'm with President Bolthus on his recommendations on this.
Anyone else? Then we have a roll call vote. Now, the question is should we remove this item from the agenda? If you agree with the motion to remove this item, your vote would be yes. If you don't agree with, if you want to leave it on the agenda, your vote would be no. Correct me, Attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, roll call vote.
Okay, Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
No.
Trustee Tucker.
No.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Salella.
No.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
President Bolthus.
No. So it will remain on the agenda. Any other amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to item 5, which is appointment to boards and commission. Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission, Sarah Collentine for March 9th, 2020 to April 30th, 2020, and Kelly Stesick from March 9th, 2020 to April 30th, 2021. We have a motion for the appointments. Trustee Kazone.
Mr. President, I'll make the motion.
Trustee Salas.
A second.
Second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Patrick.
No.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
No.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
President Bolthus.
Yes. So that motion passes. The first meeting is tomorrow night? I
Yes,
think
that is
that's-
correct.
Okay. They've been made aware of that, so thank you very much. Number 6 is the consent agenda, which are the minutes from the village board meeting held on February 24th, 2020. 6B is the bill listing for the week of February 24th and March 2nd, 2020, in a total amount of $334,363.04. Do you have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Kazone?
Mr. President, I'll make the motion.
A second.
Trustee Ciela, second. Any questions or comments? Trustee Tucker?
Yes, there's a few spelling errors in it
Consent agenda.
that I would hope to get changed.
Spelling error?
We've got words on in instead of is, and I'm sure it was just kind of overlooked.
On
On
what?
the first reading of the amendment for the Villa Park Municipal Code. on it, it states, on the line,
Well, you know, if you want to get together with the staff and correct those scribers errors, we can still go ahead and vote for this.
okay, yeah, it's just,
Okay?
and they can be corrected before it's finalized.
Yeah.
It's just a printing error, is
Yeah.
basically, you've got change in instead of is, the word should be is instead of in.
And that's on what? On the minutes?
And the minutes
Okay,
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
you can
just
get
the
it.
minutes themselves, it looks like it was corrected for our vote tonight, it's just last week's minutes that,
Okay. Okay, any, well, that's it. So, roll call vote.
Okay, trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
yes.
trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Salala.
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item 7A, which is a second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Villa Park Municipal Code related to utility billing. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. On January 13, 2020, the Village Board approved changes to the utility billing process, which includes absorbing credit card processing fees to be funded by a change in the monthly administration charge in utility accounts. The proposed ordinance increases the monthly administrative fee from $1.50 per month to $2 per month, which is necessary to help pay for the credit card processing fees. The $1.50 fee was established in July 2006. The proposed ordinance also addresses service charges for delinquent utility accounts. Each month, some utility accounts become delinquent, resulting in the need to terminate service until certain fees are paid. Delinquent accounts are currently charged a $100 fee when the utility service is reinstated during normal business hours. That charge increases to $150, which is a $100 reinstatement fee plus $50 after hours charge, after business hours. On many occasions, when staff arrives at the home and is in the process of terminating the utility service, many homeowners argue with staff about the $150 fee, which can be distressing. The proposed ordinance changes the $100 reinstatement fee into a $100 delinquent fee that is assigned on the very day which the utility service is going to be terminated, whether or not the utility service is actually terminated. The after-hours reinstatement fee to restore utility service would increase from $150, which is the current charge, to $200, which is the $100 delinquent fee plus a $100 after-hours charge. Staff believes that the delinquent fee is appropriate due to the amount of effort involved in verifying payment or non-payment and extensive follow-up prior to the day of service termination. The increase in the after-hours rate is based upon actual cost to call back an employee at the overtime rate for the required minimum 2 hours plus the equipment cost. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for the second reading? Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Ellis, second. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Murphy.
Yes, I would just like to make a comment. I am not adverse to attempting to shift this fee in an effort to improve the process. I'm feeling, however, that I'm seeing an inconsistency between the use of the verbiage. The proposed second reading, paragraph 4, says the proposed ordinance changes the $100 reinstatement fee into a $100 delinquent fee. The proposed code change, however, in paragraph 4 is referencing payment made of $100 for reinstating such service. So I feel like we're vacillating between the use of the terminology as a reinstatement fee versus a delinquent fee. But I don't think it's impacting our process. I think it's more a clarification of understanding and reading the intent of what's being written.
Reinstatement, that's the second $100 for after hours. Any other time.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's correct.
Yeah.
You good?
Yes, may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Your Honor. It says a $100 delinquency fee, and the second one, which references reinstatement, it says reinstatement of service at any other time.
The first one, the one before that.
Yes, it says on the fourth line of section 2, the actual,
No, section 3 on the code, in the fourth paragraph says, if the water is terminated, it shall not be reinstated until the required access is provided and payment made of $100 for reinstating such service between 8 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. during normal village business hours.
so you have a motion for delinquency fee in that second place. That was not caught. So the first $100 would be the delinquency fee. The second $100 is as stated, reinstatement at any time other than 8 to 3.
I'm not referencing the after hours. I'm referencing between 8 and 3:30 as documented in paragraph 4 of the proposed change code. Section 3, paragraph
Paragraph.
4,
Yeah? Yes?
third line from the bottom, payment
Yeah.
made for reinstating service between 8 a.m. and 3:30 during normal village business hours.
That's the way it used to read. So it would stand corrected? Are you looking at it, Finance Director?
I think I can clarify this a little bit. In paragraph, or in section 3, that that section is not relating, excuse me, to the regular utility billing process. So this is not for delinquent bills, per se. This section 3 relates to other times when we may need to terminate service in order to get access to the utility or the water meter and that type of thing. So that section of the code is relating to other process, not the routine billing process. Section 2, that paragraph in section 2 relates to the utility billing process.
I don't
So-
have a problem with section 2. It's section 3, and if everyone's comfortable
I see
with
what
it,
you're
I'm
saying.
okay with it.
Right, because I get it. Thank you, Finance Director, because what he's explaining to us is this is instances where access is not provided for 30 days when they request to get in. So it's a different penalty, a different reinstatement, and a different issue than the one that we're changing tonight.
As long as you're good with it, I'm good with it.
And that's
Thank you.
that's in here to keep the dollar amounts consistent among both methods, both reasons why we may need to terminate water service. So we
Good
wanted to
question.
keep the dollar amount consistent under both scenarios.
Thank you. I will admit that whole thing is a little complicated to read. So,
That's fine.
any other questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Okay, trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Salella.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
President Boltus.
Yes. That passes, and we'll move on to 7B, which is the second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, increasing the number of Class Quad E restaurant unrestricted liquor license. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Super Tacos Marianos Incorporated, number 3, located at 100 East Roosevelt Road, has been in operation as a restaurant and would like to be able to sell alcoholic liquor to customers. This ordinance will create a Class Quad E restaurant unrestricted license for consumption on the premises and sale of alcoholic liquor to patrons seated at tables or a bar of the restaurant. If approved, this will bring the total number of Class Quad E licenses to 1. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the second reading? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that
We have a
motion.
second, Trustee
I'll
Murphy?
second that.
Okay, any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Salella,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Boltus.
Yes. That passes. We'll move on to 7C, which is the second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Chapter 7 of the Village Code by adopting by reference certain building, residential, property maintenance, electrical, mechanical, fuel, gas, energy, and fire prevention codes. And that'll be, you all received some corrections in your packets, and that'll be codes as corrected. Okay? Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village last adopted updating building codes in 2011. In order to keep pace with building technologies and methods, the adoption of a new set of building and fire codes is recommended. New codes will include additional requirements for solar panel installations and car charging stations. In addition, This includes a major upgrade to the village's electric codes. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the second reading? Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
do you have a second?
I'll
Trustee
second.
Murphy, okay. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Trustee Tucker.
I found it very hard to read, but my question is, individuals or public housing and residential compared to corporate, they were different, correct? In that, I was trying to read the changes, so if you were talking about business type electric compared to residents, it was two different codes I saw, was that correct?
Director Grill.
That is correct. There's a residential code that deals with just one and two family developments, and then you have the rest of the building codes which deal with all commercial, industrial, and multifamily type of residential. So yes, as it relates to those different types of uses, there are separate codes that we use to review them.
Yeah, because it looked like it was the same deal for residential, but then it was totally different, so that we had, when you revised it, there was two separate types.
There always was before.
Yeah, but when you
Correct.
revised it, there was two separate
Yes.
revisions on the difference of the two, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Sillella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. If that passes, we'll move on to item 8A, which is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the publication of the 2020 zoning map. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Each year, the village is required to publish its zoning map by March 31st. No zoning changes have been made to the map that was approved last year. This map is identical to the 2019 map. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Kazone?
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Second. Trustee Wagner?
I'll second the motion.
I did read somewhere that they're thinking of making, that we can do this electronically nowadays, but that hasn't been approved yet, so, then we won't have to go out publishing it, so. Any other questions? Trustee Murphy?
I would just like to confirm, I'm anticipating that the zoning on the cannabis dispensaries was on the 2019 map.
It would not be on the map. This is a zoning classes, like M1, M2.
Okay.
So, C, okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Sillella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Item 8B is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a master lease purchase agreement for the purchase of an ambulance and power cot in the total financial amount of $314,361.50. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Reserve Medic 80 is a 2009 MedTech Ford E450 ambulance that has exceeded its service life and is scheduled for replacement. In a subsequent resolution, the Fire Department will request approval of a purchase agreement for a new 2020 Ford F550 4x2 Horton Model 632 ambulance. This ordinance approves a master lease financing agreement with tax-exempt leasing corporation to finance the purchase of the replacement ambulance. The village requested proposals directly from 14 qualified firms and posted the request for proposals online. Tax-exempt provided the lowest borrowing rate at 2.55% of the 7 proposals received, payable in annual installments of $62,872.30 per year for 5 years, 2021 through 2025. Approval of the attached ordinance is recommended to execute the master lease documents. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
A second?
Second.
Trustee Ella? Any questions or comments? Trustee Tucker?
I have one question. We're getting the loan and we're speaking of, or the lease amount, and we're speaking of purchasing on 9A, which I'll ask that questions when we get to the ambulance. But, the funding of it, is this loan gonna become a line item in the equipment replacement fund, seeing that's where we're getting the funds from? So we're making a line item and putting that money in that fund. Is
That's
that
correct.
correct? For
That's
the
correct.
ambulance only, is that what's,
That's
how
correct.
it's gonna be set up?
That's correct.
Okay.
Anyone else? Trustee Wagner.
Thank you. I just thought it was very interesting, and I was reading that when we get ready to replace M81, that we'll be able to re-chassis that. Will we be able to do that in-house, or is that, no? You know.
That's a big job.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Anyone else? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes,
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Passes, and we'll move on to item 9A, which is resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the purchase of a new 2020 Ford F-550 4x2 Horton Model 623 ambulance from Foster Coach Sales in the amount not to exceed $295,000. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Reserve Medic 80 is a 2009 MedTech Ford E450 ambulance that has exceeded its useful service life and is scheduled for replacement. The Fire Department is requesting approval to purchase a new 2020 Ford F-550 4x2 Horton Model 623 ambulance equipped with a Stryker Power Pro XT cot and power loading cot fastener system. In approximately 9 months after the new ambulance is constructed and placed into service, Medic 80 will be prepared for sale. Funding for this purchase will be budgeted in Equipment Replacement Fund account number 65-502-02-401. Thank you, Your Honor.
The motion for the resolution?
I'll
Trustee
make the
Patrick?
motion.
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Seala?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Trustee Tucker?
What number is this new ambulance gonna be? 81. It's gonna be M81 or 81? M81? Okay, so what's happening to the M81 we have now? So so we're moving the numbers? That's what I was confused on. So it's gonna be, how do we do that number? You've got 3 of them right now. How do they change numbers?
Well, we have 2 stations.
Okay.
Okay,
He just didn't want to get it.
we're just gonna take the stickers off and move them.
Yeah, well, that's what I wondered. Are we just moving the stickers and moving the ambulance around or
Okay,
what?
the way it works, we're station-based dispatching, so we have Station 81, so Medic 81, Engine 81,
Okay.
Station 81, Station 82 up north, Medic 82, Engine 82. So when this goes frontline at Station 81, it'll be Medic 81, and the reserve is Medic 80.
So which one do we move to the reserve for?
The current Medic 81,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because it'll be
So-
9 years, so that's our
So the
our
M81
schedule.
right now becomes the reserve? Is
Yes.
that what, okay, that's what I want clarification of. The second question I have for you is, what's the second question? Oh, on our sheet you wrote that, I'm taking it that the ambulance, the 2009 ambulance came in 2010? Because at
Yeah,
one
it's a
spot
2000
you said.
It's a 2009 chassis, but December 2009 was the chassis,
Okay.
and it went to the MedTech Ambulance Company. It was built in 2010. So the boxes are 2010, but the chassis is 2009.
Got it, because in one you have, it's saying 2009, the second one you said 2010.
And
I'm
we're going to go with the
confused.
chassis because the chassis is what wears out, not the box.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's how we can switch things around
Yeah.
in the future.
It's station-based dispatching. That's what the whole county's doing.
Okay.
So like Station 71 in Addison, Engine 71, Medic 71. So as a chief, you know where they're coming from.
Got it, because I was kind of confused because you said that it was a 2010, one part, and 2009 another, so it's like, okay, what have we got here? Okay,
Anyone else? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
yes,
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
yes,
President Bolfus?
Yes, that passes, and we'll move on to 9B, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, endorsing the Metropolitan Mayor Caucus's Greenest Region Compact. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village is a member municipality in the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus. The caucus has created the Greenest Region Compact as a means for participating municipalities to work together toward enhanced quality of life for residents, protection and stewardship of the environment, and sustainable economic vitality. Supporters of the Greenest Region Compact commit their communities to support consensus goals of the compact and agree to work to achieve them. These goals cover topics such as, but not limited to, climate, economic development, energy, land, mobility, waste and recycling, and sustainable communities. The resolution for consideration commits the village to working toward these shared goals, many of which the village has a vested interest. Thank you, Ron.
Do you have a motion for the resolution, trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a second, trustee Patrick?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Questions or comments? Yes.
I'd just like to thank staff for bringing this forward. A number of months ago, Edith Macra from the Metropolitan Mayor's Conference spoke to the Environmental Concerns Commission and kind of described the Greenest Region 2 Compact. And what Edith Macra said was that, and I didn't know this, that the village had previously adopted the Greenest Region Compact. And it's the great framework. It's quite a lot of information, and it's good to know how highly ranked we are in the top 25% of communities in the region. So I appreciate this, and I appreciate that we're adopting this. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Salala?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. That passes, and we'll move on to 9C, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the joint purchase of bulk rock salt through the State of Illinois Central Management Service Bureau of Strategic Sourcing. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Ron. The village annually purchases rock salt through an agreement with the Illinois Department of Central Management Services. The state of Illinois generally receives favorable prices because of the large quantity of salt that it purchases. The village must submit its rock salt needs through a contract with the state of Illinois by April 1st, 2020. Rock salt is a budgeted expense. However, the exact expense will not be known until the bidding process is complete. It is anticipated that approximately $100 per ton will be the cost. Village staff recommends entering into a contract with the state of Illinois for 600 tons of bulk rock salt. Funding has been budgeted for this purchase in the Street Maintenance Fund account number 10-525-27-431. Thank you, Your Honor.
We have a motion for the resolution. Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Second. Trustee Wagner?
I'll second that motion.
Questions or comments? Trustee Ciala.
One question for Mr. Salerno. I just wonder, in the past, we started doing some pre-treatment to the street, pre-storm, beet juice, other chemicals that we put down. I'm just wondering if that has shown a reduction in our salt use now that we've got a little time invested in it, and we may have some type of records that would indicate yes or no.
Director Salerno.
Good evening. Yes, we have been anti-icing, and and you are correct. It's been a combination of what we have is beet heat extreme and a mixture of salt brine. So that's what you're seeing on the pavement prior to storms when conditions are correct. There are certain times that we can anti-ice, and other times, depending on what the prediction of the weather is, that we can't. But in short, we have seen under some of the lesser events, it has helped out, so actually reduction of some salt usage. We have been actually doing a little bit more salting village-wide. Our policy, gives us that flexibility. Where depending on each event, if it's a little bit more icy, that we are actually salting a little bit more versus just some of the mains. So this past year, some of our streets have used some excess salt.
Great, thank you.
Trustees Kazone.
Just a quick, how are we compared to like last year? Are we, as far as salt usage?
Actually, salt usage, we've purchased about 1,000 tons of salt so far year-to-date for this year, meaning from beginning of the season till now. And we have a few hundred tons in storage with approximately another about 350 to 400 tons that we could still purchase. So salt usage, I know in the memo it says we usually use about 500 to 700 tons a year. Pretty accurate even with the mild winter, but as I said earlier, that we have been salting a little bit more our side streets, so that accounts for a little bit higher usage of the salt.
Thank you.
So we're only committed to 80% of the amount,
That is,
right?
that is correct. The 600 tons, what we see that we're saying that we're giving a baseline, we have that flexibility from 80 to, depending on the contract, one contract's 80 to 120, one's 80 to 130%. So salt is a commodity, and depending on the contract price, we maximize our use. For instance, this year, the one contract that was about $10 cheaper per salt, we purchased 130% of our contract amount, so to maximize our village dollars.
Gives us more flexibility, so, good.
Exactly, yes.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Silella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes, that passes. We'll move on to 9D, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the joint purchase of black rock salt through the DuPage County Procurement Service Division. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village annually purchases rock salt through an agreement with DuPage County Procurement Services Division. DuPage County generally receives favorable prices because of the large quantity of salt that it purchases. A contract with DuPage County Procurement Service Division for the purchase of 600 tons of bulk rock salt is recommended. Rock salt is a budgeted expense. However, the exact expense will not be known until the bidding process is complete. It is anticipated the cost will be approximately $100 per ton. Funding has been budgeted for this purchase in the Street Maintenance Fund account number 10-525-27-341. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner?
Look to make that motion.
Second, Trustee Cielo. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Silella?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes, it passes. We'll move on to 9E, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a 2-year contract with Bear Landscape Group of Villa Park, Illinois, for the landscape maintenance program in the amount of $27,680. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Parks Department maintains 145 acres of land. This includes approximately 85 acres of parks and 60 acres of property and other land not owned by the village, i.e. the Illinois Prairie Path and School District 45 properties. Because of manpower limitation, landscaping services for certain areas has historically been outsourced to multiple professional organizations in order to ensure that the heavily trafficked and labor-intensive areas of Villa Park are properly maintained. The 2021 Landscape Maintenance Program consolidates landscaping services for 3 prime locations: North Avenue medians and streetscape from Villa Avenue to Joyce Street, Metra North and South lots, and Ardmore Avenue streetscape Metra lot to the North Avenue. Village sought bids from 20 companies and posted the bidding notice in local newspapers. One bid was submitted by Bear Landscape Group of Villa Park, Illinois. Approval of a contract in the amount of $27,680 per year for 2 years is recommended. This contract would save the village $12,866 in staff hours for the life of the contract. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner.
Look to make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second, Mr. President.
Trustee Cielo. Okay. Any questions or comments? Trustee Murphy.
I just have 2 comments. I have a question. I'm hoping Manager Keener can help us to understand the agreements between these organizations where we're maintaining 60 acres of property and other land not owned by the village. Whether there's compensation or how we facilitate that would be my first question.
I'll let you handle that.
Yes. One area that the village maintains is property owned by DuPage County, which includes the Illinois Prairie Path and the Great Western Prairie Path. So the village maintains that by mowing and tree trimming, and as a result, we get to enjoy those particular areas for our citizens. Another area that we maintain is the School District 45 property, which is Jefferson School's land area, Jackson, and I believe north as well. And the village mows that in return for the use of the fields, whether it be a soccer game or a ball field. And we do not have a ball team, so the Villa Park Youth Baseball uses the ball diamonds, which the village maintains. So we maintain the ball diamonds, and that, of course, is replenishing the specialized sand, maintaining the bases, etc., and mowing their land area as well. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes.
Just one other comment, an observation on the contract saving the village $12,866 in staff hours for the life of the contract. Since we're reallocating our resources into other endeavors, we're still paying our staff for their time. I do, however, understand that the costs associated with maintaining these processes through an outsourced organization is saving us something. So as long as we feel that we can have the budget for the $27,000 contract, I'm not adverse to approving that above and beyond the original staff allocation of hours that's going to be reassigned to other project work.
Okay. Anyone else? Trustee Tucker.
I had the question on who's going to cover the plants, on having in those flower pots in the area. Will this landscaper be providing that, or just the labor for it?
Who's going to do what to the plants?
Who's going to, the plants that are in those areas, if they have to be upgraded or could they die out and replaced, who's going to handle those plants?
And who's going to
Or
water
is this
them?
just the,
Who's going to water them?
well, yeah. Is this the manpower of watering them or keeping them going?
Yeah, Greg,
This
either way.
budget.
Oh, Brian. Well, we haven't seen Brian yet tonight. That's why he's here.
The maintenance of the plants is covered in here, but if they die, it's up to us to replace them.
And the other question I have is, I take it we're on a the landscapers will be on some type of schedule or routine of when they'll be doing it?
Yes.
If for some chance we need them to, probably the Metra, something happens there that somebody starts pulling our plants out, will we be able to call them to put it in on our time frame? I mean, I understand there's some type of a cycle, but
Yeah,
if we
they're-
see something wrong, we can make a quick call and say, hey, we need you out here.
Yes, and
like
vice
this.
versa. They'll let us know right away if they see something out of the ordinary too.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. Okay?
Just,
Trustee
just a quick question. Do you know why we only got one bid out of 20 requests?
I don't. We sent
Well,
a
it
lot of
seemed-
notes out to companies and we
Yeah.
publicly bid it, and we were hoping for a lot, and
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay, roll call vote.
Do we have a motion?
We need a motion? I didn't do that?
No, we didn't make
No.
Okay, do you have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Well, we got it. We got it done.
Okay.
We didn't do that,
Yes.
so that's why we had the discussion. Right.
Okay, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Volpez?
Yes, I've been known to skip the motions on occasion. Okay, with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is 10, which is public comment on non-agenda items. Does anyone signed up?
I have no one.
Does anyone from the public have any non-agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move on to the clerk's report.
Yes, I have a couple things. One is that this Wednesday, we have the SALT meeting. That's seniors and law enforcement together. That's a meeting at the Community Recreation Building, starts at 11 a.m. And that is a program that the police department Officer Bregman is in charge of the program, and then the lunch will be followed after that at noontime, and the Senior Concerns Commission sponsors that lunch. And also, the second thing is we're looking forward to the senior fair. So the commission has chartered and signed for the location at the VFW for May 13. And even though it's down the road a bit, the commission is looking for Senior of the Year nominations. So if anyone has a nomination, there has to be somebody at least retirement age. Even if they're working, they don't have to be retired, but they have to be 65 or older. And nominations can be sent to the village, attention, either the commission or attention village clerk. And then we will take care of that and have it ready for the senior fair on the 13th of May. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to the trustees report. We'll start on the end on my left. Trustee Murphy.
The other thing I have is everyone have a happy and safe St. Patrick's Day. That is also Election Day. So I do encourage everyone to take that opportunity to find a way to vote. I think we may still have one more day that we can get vote by mail ballots. So if you're concerned about going out to a polling place, get a hold of the Election Commission tomorrow. You may still get right under the wire with getting a mail-in ballot, but please do take the time to vote. That's all I have.
Okay, Trustee Tucker.
I'm just gonna, on Christine, do remember to vote, just brought it out. And just a reminder, tomorrow is the Park and Rec Commission meeting at Iowa at 7 o'clock. So if you're interested in something going on in the park that they need to know, this would be the time to bring it up.
That's it?
That is it.
Thank you. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Polfus. I just had a couple things. The folks from the Christian Church of Villa Park have announced that the Love Your Neighbor Day 2020 will be Saturday, September 26th, and there'll be more details available about that. Also want to let folks know that the Garden Club of Villa Park will have their next meeting on March 24th at the library, and you can gather early at 6:30 p.m. for a social time, and then the program starts at 7 p.m. And the speaker is Jan Hansen. She's a master gardener. The title of the program is Body Smart Gardening. I don't know what that means, but it's very intriguing, and there's always a good program put on by the Garden Club, so I'd encourage folks who are interested to attend. And the spring sweep has been scheduled for May 16th from 9 a.m. to noon. Lead commission, of course, is the Pride Commission, along with the Environmental Concerns Commission, so we're looking forward to a very successful spring sweep this coming May. And I likewise would like to encourage folks to get out to vote. As most of you know, in District 45, there's a referendum. And I would encourage folks to educate themselves on the issues involving the referendum. People who have not been able to attend the open houses have asked me where to find information about the referendum. And so if you go to District 40, www.d45.org, and on the top, there's a tab that's referendum. There's a wealth of information there. There's a detail about what the referendum is about. Full-day kindergarten. They want to build a new early childhood center. They want to make safety and security improvements to schools, upgrade technology, improve the science, technology, engineering, and math program, and enhance music education opportunities. So I know that some folks have differing opinions on the referendum, but please get educated on the issues involving the referendum.
I think at that website, you can also, they have a little calculator there. You can figure out what the financial impact would be on your house.
It does.
So,
It does.
so,
And that's all I have. Thank
interesting.
you.
Thank you. We'll start on my right now. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to start off by thanking everybody that made it out here tonight and everybody watching at home. As a trustee, I get the opportunity to talk with a lot of people here in town. And much to my surprise, we have a lot of veterans here in Villa Park. As a veteran myself, I understand sometimes the costs and the sacrifice involved with that commitment to making our country a better place. So going forward, to honor our veterans' sacrifices, every month I am going to, during my short period of time of the trustees report, I'm going to honor a specific veteran in order to recognize and thank them for their efforts here in Villa Park, and also to introduce them to the rest of our residents. So tonight I have here special guest Ed Ackerman and Wanda Ackerman. Ed, if you could do me a favor and stand at the podium. I'd like to introduce everybody to Ed Ackerman. Ed Ackerman was drafted in November of 1969 and given the opportunity to enlist after basic training. Then he went on to 6 months of school. He spent 11 months and 22 days in Vietnam. Coming home, he spent more than a year at Fort Detrick in Maryland and assigned to Fort Orchard, California. He was stationed for 3 years in the Berlin Brigade, where he was part of Germany that was still behind the wall at that time. Spandau Prison was located there, and Rudolf Hess was serving time prison. He was serving a lifetime prison sentence there. And Ed actually occasionally served as Sergeant of the Guard. After leaving Berlin, he joined the U.S. Army Reserves, and most of his time was spent at the 85th Division in Arlington Heights. During this time, there was an invasion of Panama, followed by the Gulf War, and known for it as Operation Desert Storm. He was mobilized in 2004 to Camp Atterbury, south of Indianapolis, and he was one of the first soldiers there to jumpstart Camp Atterbury as a training site. Before that, it was mainly used for annual training for Army National Guard soldiers. He was then a soldier in charge of Validation Center for the 205th Infantry Brigade. The Validation Cell was a department that verifies soldiers' training, and he had verified over 19,000 soldiers' training. This time of conflict in Afghanistan, Operation Enduring Freedom, and during his 40-year career, he served under 9 U.S. presidents, the last being President Barack Obama. His official retirement date was February of 2009. These are amazing accomplishments and a great background, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to introduce Ed Ackerman to the rest of Villa Park as one of our hometown heroes. So thank you.
Well, 40 years, thank you for your commitment. That's quite a resume you have there. So,
And lastly, going forward, if you are somebody that knows a veteran that would like to be recognized, or a veteran yourself that would like to be recognized, please call me at 630-336-6544, or you could email me at trusteepatrick@invillapark.com. Thank you.
thank you. Trustee Ciala.
Just a small reminder I'd like to throw out there, being the weather's changing now, it's getting warm, and our streets are getting more inundated with children and our family pets. I'd like to take a moment just to remind people to slow down, be aware. I recently had a neighbor lose a family member this week, a large, young golden lab, and it was pretty traumatic to the family, as so to me. So just a reminder that there's children and family friends out there. Slow down. Thank you.
Thank you. It's always good to have that reminder. Trustee Kazone.
I just got one thing. The Economic Development Commission will be meeting here a week from Wednesday, the 18th, at 5:30 up here on the second floor. So if you're interested in what's going on with some of the businesses in town And also the Yes Villa Park website, you can get an update on that and how many businesses we got working on that. So it's the 18th, 5:30 up here on the second floor.
Okay, thank you. I got a couple things tonight. Just want to remind everybody that the census is coming. This week, Thursday, you should be starting to get your census invitation. So those will be going out starting on March 12th, and they'll be between the 12th and the 20th. You should be getting those. And after that, you'll also be getting some reminders to fill out the census. And so please take some time to do that and reply. It's easy enough to do. I'll tell you in a second how that's done. You got a little script here they supplied me with. I thought I'd read it to you all. So basically, it starts out there, why are you doing this? Well, you can make a difference by participating in the 2020 census. That's because the census informs how many billions of dollars are allocated to every year to health clinics, schools, affordable housing, senior services, emergency management, fire stations, job training, water treatment, public housing, veterans programs, community centers, and literacy programs, and parks and roads. You say, well, it's important that we get a count of everybody. And when we say everybody, we mean everybody. Grandparents, newborns, they count. Everybody you see in this room and everybody around in your neighborhood, we all count. If you live in the village only a few weeks or your entire life, you count. If you live alone, with some other family, with friends, or with people you don't know all that well, you all count. So even if, a little sidebar, even if you're renting an apartment and you have some other people in the apartment that aren't on the lease, count them. The landlord will not find out that you have somebody living in your apartment with you that is not supposed to be there. Same way, if you have some relatives that are living with you in your house from maybe another country or something, who may be legal or illegal, not legal, they all should be counted. And nobody else will find out about it. The Villa Park Village will not find out that you have overcrowding. That all that information is secret, confidential. So everyone in Villa Park counts. I think they've already made up some ways to count homeless in Villa Park. So we have some of those too. So that's all being covered. And everyone living in your household on April 1st needs to get counted as part of the 2020 census. The 2020 census will help inform how the billions of dollars get distributed every year. I can tell you the Villa Park gets, I would say in the 10 years since the last census, we probably received millions of dollars in grant funding based on the results of the census. So it's critical dollars to our roads. We do a lot of it with our roads. So when you get the invitation to respond to the census, keep in mind how important it is for Villa Park, not just for the village of Villa Park, for the schools in Villa Park, because the schools use that information too so they can plan for the future, and they'll also know to be able to apply for lunch program money and that type of thing. So you'll be getting the invitation sometime starting on Thursday. And I got another little sheet here, the number of people at the address they ask here. We asked that question, how many people live, to collect the accurate count of the number of people at each address on April 1st. And our goal is to count people once, only once, and in the right place according to where they live on census day. Keeping this goal in mind, we asked that this question to ensure that everyone living in the address is counted. Now, some people have asked me, okay, well, let's say my wife just had a new baby. She came home, but the baby had to stay in the hospital. You count the baby at your residence. So if anybody has that question. So we ask about whether it is a home, or if you own it, or if you rent it, for the creation of statistics about home ownership and renting. Home ownership rates serve as an indicator of the nation's economy and help at administering housing programs and informing planning decisions. But they will ask you for your phone number, just in case they need to get in contact you in regards to your answers. So, but that too will all be kept confidential. They ask for your name to ensure that everyone in the household is counted. It also helps to keep ancestry records. Listing the names of each person in the household helps respondents, including all members, particularly large households where the respondent may forget who was counted and who was not. They'll ask for your sexes of each person living in to create statistics about male and females. Census data about sex is used in planning for funding governmental programs and evaluating other governmental programs and policies to ensure that they are fairly and equitably serve the needs of males and females. They'll ask for the age. They'll ask about the age and the date of birth to understand the size and characteristics of different age groups and to present other data by age to local, state, and financial agencies. They'll ask a race. We ask about the person's race to create statistics about race and to present other statistics by racial groups. And whether a person lives or stays somewhere else, our goal is to count people once, only once, and in the right place according to where they live on census day. And they will also ask about the relationship with each person in the household in one central person to create estimate about families, households, and other groups. They will not ask you anything about citizenship, social security numbers, about your political party, about your bank account number, about credit cards, or any money or any donations, or ask for any donations. Now, that's a little warning. You got the census people out there. There's also scammers out there.
Right.
And they're the ones that are going to probably ask you about your bank accounts and social security numbers. So that is not something that's going to be asked. So please fill out the census. It means a lot of money to our village, and we need all the help we can get because you've seen the size of our budget. So that'll definitely help. So the other thing I wanted to bring up is we hear a lot about the COVID-19 virus. And I just want to let you know a little bit about some things that I've been involved in. I got this email from the DuPage County Health Department. I'll just read you this little short part of it here. With all the news about coronavirus this weekend, I wanted to share an update with you on the situation and our response in DuPage County. DuPage County Health Department is our lead agency and is closely monitoring and fact-checking and back-checking. DuPage County Health Department is in regular communication with the following guidance and by providing information to the Illinois Department of Health and for the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. DuPage County Health Department, communicable disease and epidemiology staff routinely monitor and investigate disease transmission and response and continue to do so with this new virus. The DuPage County Health Department and Homeland Security and Emergency Management is working closely with the DuPage Community Health Department and local emergency preparedness officials, as well as first responders to support the community. We are exchanging information and answering questions from hospitals, schools, business, and community partners. The CDC is urging us all to take the following health precautions. Stay home if you feel sick. Cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue and then throw the tissue away, please. Don't use it again. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water is not readily available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with 60% to 95% of alcohol, and routinely clean frequently touched surfaces. Also, last week Sunday, Mayor Lightfoot from Chicago reached out to the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, realizing that this is an area issue, area potential emergency, And we had a conference call with about 130 mayors from Chicago and DuPage County and Cook County. And the mayor and her medical staff, Dr. Arwide and Rich Guidis, was the executive director of emergency management in Chicago. We just went over there what the city of Chicago is doing in the preparedness for potential problems. I also had a meeting, phone meeting with the DuPage County Health Department, Karen Ayala, director of the Health Department, and Murphy Snow, who is from the Department of Emergency Planning. We talked about what the county is doing in preparedness for any potential disease outbreaks or any cases in DuPage County. As of today, there are none in DuPage County. So they're working on that. They're our method of communication. If anything comes up in DuPage County, they'll advise us as a village on what we should do, and they'll pass that information on to the to the state, and then on to the federal officials. And then on last Friday, I had a phone conversation or a phone meeting with another 350 mayors from around the state with Governor Pritzker's office, the Illinois Department of Public Health, the Illinois Emergency Management Agency, offering a brief overview of the things and that the state is receiving. They're getting $14.7 million. The state is from the federal government to help with the potential outbreak if we get in any deeper. They did inform us that right now in the state of Illinois there are 3 testing centers for the test kits. They do have enough test kits right now, but they are also opening up probably about 2 or 3 more. Well, they're gonna contract out an additional with like Quest Diagnostic to also be able to do the test in Illinois, right in town. That gets them the answers much quicker than if they had to send it to the CDC in Atlanta. So that's a good thing. We can respond that much faster. But like I said, as of right now, there's 7 cases, but they're all put to Cook County, and I don't want to, just take it easy, everybody. You don't have to be freaking out about this. It seems to be under control. The symptoms are basically the same as the flu, except for you get some respiratory distress. And if you get that, then you should probably contact your doctor. They also ask that you think you're sick, you're worried about it, don't just run to the hospital or run to a clinic because you just overload them. So contact your physician and take his guidance. The county is also working now, in case there's an epidemic, they're setting up a plan. If the hospitals get overburdened or overfull, they're setting up finding alternative sites for people who need to have intensive care. So they're working and setting up those locations now. I did ask our chief of police and our fire chief if they had separate meetings with the health department, I believe, and if you could give us a little guidance on what you guys learned from them and the precautions, because you are frontline people.
Good evening. As far as the health department, we receive frequent communication from them as you do, and push that out to our officers. And basically, the same information that applies to everybody is the proper hygiene. We're telling our officers to keep as minimal contact as they can with the public, because you just don't know, and to report any exposures. They all have personal protective equipment in their squad cars. We've furnished all the squad cars with extra Clorox wipes and things to disinfect a little bit more and stuff like that. So it's just trying to be as cautious as possible and maintain as little contact as we can.
Good to hear.
I'll just say a couple things. In fact, today we had a meeting in Addison with 5 fire chiefs in the area and Office of Homeland Security. And our biggest concern as fire chiefs is if we have to quarantine, like up in Washington State, 17 firemen. So we talked about that. We're working on an IAP right now, Incident Action Plan. in the event that that happens, if we have to quarantine in a firehouse or isolate our people. It was a great meeting. Office of Homeland Security was there as well. We have a plan that we will cover. For example, if our Station 82 were to get hit, we would put more guys up in Addison and more guys down south, Station 81. So we have this great relationship with the neighboring towns, their fire chiefs and so on. So our plan is to get an incident action plan by next Monday. And then the following Friday, we're going to invite the mayors and managers to our meeting, and we're going to explain and go over our incident action plan. Hopefully nothing will happen, but we're trying to be proactive instead of reactive. And, again, like Mike said, and I think Mayor Baltus, you said the same thing. You know, it's important you wash your hands. If you don't wash your hands, get into the habit. It is important. It is the flu, is what it really is. Don't need to panic. And be cautious. If you sneeze, cover your mouth. Go wash your hands. Throw the Kleenex in the garbage. Maybe don't shake hands like we used to all the time. Maybe right now you don't do that. You go to church. Maybe you don't shake hands. Okay, understood. Give them the bump or the fist, whatever you got to do, and be cautious. If you're at a gathering and somebody's sneezing, you know, maybe get away from them. They talk about a 6-foot distance. Our guys, our medics, try to be 6 feet away from a patient that's experiencing some kind of a respiratory issue. We'll put a mask on that patient as well as our medics. Maybe isolate. We got, like Mike said, PPE, personal protective equipment, where we're encapsulated. But sometimes the patient will freak out. So we got to be cognizant of that as well. So hopefully we'll get through it without any major issues. But I think we're doing the right thing by being proactive instead of reactive.
So it's a good point about, you know, if you touch something, you get on your hands, so don't touch your face.
Don't touch your nose,
you know,
out.
Don't be picking your nose.
You got to rub your eye. Don't rub your eye.
Like that, you know. So.
And somebody made a good comment to me on Saturday. If you go shopping, the shopping cart handles are notorious for a lot of different. So. Yeah.
I think people are getting. I went to the Jewel on Saturday. They had the little Santa wipes right there.
Yeah.
And usually, I always use them. Usually, there's the trash can doesn't have anything. It was overflowing on Saturday. So.
Just be cognizant. It is the flu season. We should be doing it every year.
Well, on this virus, most of the people who've had the real problems are elderly.
Yeah.
With pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
Heart failure or
their immune
lung
system's
disease or
decreased,
something like
right.
that. Chemotherapy.
So.
Those are the ones so far that mostly. So. Okay. Thank
very
you
good.
very
Thank you.
much. Did anybody else have anything? So, did you have anything? I saw Patrick shaking his head. Patrick Grill.
I just have a couple of follow-up points on your comments about the census.
Okay.
This year, you have 3 different ways to respond to the census. This year, you can do it online, you can do it by phone, or you can do it by mail. The notices that are going to start coming out this week will have a code attached to it that you can go online and use that code, and they'll know that it's your address. Now, if you do not respond in one of those 3 methods, you will get a knock at your door by a census enumerator. They must have credentials with them. They must show you an ID. But they're there only because you have not yet responded either online, by telephone, or in the mail. And this year, you can get the census in about 12 different languages. Not only that, you can call and have access to about 30 to 40 different languages by phone. If you go to our website, it will tell you how to get to the census website to find that information out in terms of the exact languages that you can get the census form in and what other languages are available by phone. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, the knock on the door, I think that starts in July. So if you haven't responded, so check their credentials, and like you said, you can go to 2020census.gov for all kinds of information on it. So please do that, and please stay healthy. Be careful. Don't be careful shaking hands. Give them a fist bump or something like that. So, Okay, that's all I have, and then, just a reminder, our next meeting is on, March 23rd, right here at 7 o'clock, and we'll move to see if the manager has anything.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd just like to add a little bit to your COVID-19. So, Your Honor and Board, we do have on our website, on the landing page, we have a ton of information on the coronavirus as well with links. And so if you're interested or you need some guidance, you can visit our website as well. And that's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Or you can go to the Illinois Department of Health, or you can go to the federal government Department of Health. So, okay, with that, we'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Trustee Kazone?
I'll make that motion.
Second, Ciela? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
With that, we're adjourned.